Maanvi, thank you so much for joining me on Bollywood Film Fame Canada. Can I tell you that the thing I love the most about the trailer of season 3 is that one, I feel as though you can pick up right where you left off in a sense from the previous seasons. But two, I was watching it with my husband and he said, I haven't, because he hasn't watched the first 2 seasons, he said, I kind of like that I can just pick it up
Yeah,
from
yeah,
season 3. And it's quite great like that. But tell me, one of the things I think that really stands out to me about your character, about the characters that are in this, is that they're very real. It seems like something that can happen to any of us,
yeah,
right? Of like a 2022 kind of family.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how important it was for you to find that core family dynamic in order to make the story work for season 3 specifically. Again.
Yes. So it's interesting. I mean, because it's while, like you said, it's not, it's a very 2022 family. Like it's a pretty modern family in many ways. They don't keep in touch. The parents have just dropped this bomb at this age that they're separating, which is very unheard of in our culture. And like they're not your regular run of the mill siblings, yet there is this relatability that you have within the relationships, like the way the kids talk to their parents or the way the kids talk to each other, that those are quite relatable. So it's a very interesting blend, and I think that's what the USP of the show is, that you relate to it, but it's also aspirational. A lot of the things that happen to them may not be, they're not very real I mean, they're real, but they're exaggerated, they're
Right.
dramatized. Yet their reactions are quite relatable to you. You'll be
Right.
like, oh, this is exactly how he reacts, or this is exactly how she reacts. And that's what the beauty is. For me, the because this season specially focuses on the parents and what they're going through and the impact of that on the kids and their own personal lives. It was really important for me to kind of bring that in. And I was just talking to somebody about how, with Kumudji and Sharnaz, who play the mom and dad,
Yes.
dad and mom, I had to, there were certain things that you invariably borrow from your real life. For example, I don't call my dad, I call him Papa, when I'm addressing him. And I had to bring that
Same.
in, to bring in that warmth. Because dad or I can refer to him as dad, but when I'm addressing him, it has to be Papa, because dad sounds a little distant to me for some reason. It's in my head, but I just couldn't, like, the script said dad, and I was like, no, I'm gonna say Papa, because
Right.
it just brings out that warmth and that feeling of Papa. And same with mom. Like I call my mom Mama, and again, that was something. So these are just things that you end up, you realize only later that, hey, this is something I do even in my real life. You might not consciously sit down to borrow these things, but they end up seeping in. And yeah, so I think these small things, even with respect to the brother, I don't have brothers. But again, I would assume that it's not very different from having a sister. So, I mean, that the feeling is the same, the emotionality is the same. There might be certain differences on the surface of it, but yeah, so you just like subliminally borrow these things.
Right. And I want to talk to you about the sibling bond because, like you, I don't have brothers. I have one sister. And, like you, I address my mama as mama and papa as papa. Very similar
Yeah.
situation, because I do think it brings the warmth. But I want to talk to you about the sibling bond specifically because the three of you are different, are very different, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting though to see a very similar thread of reactions between the three of you
Yeah.
come season
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And finding that common thread when there are three siblings who obviously, you grow up in the same household and everyone will talk about nature versus nurture. And I say, yes, but then three kids will come out of one household and all three of them will be so different in personality
Yeah.
and how they react to certain circumstances, but there's a common thread. What did you have to do yourself, along with, of course, Sumit and Amol? What did the three of you have to work on in terms of finding that common thread? Because obviously you guys are adult kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're adult children. So how did you find that common thread again of emotionality?
So there's one thing that helped was the fact that all three of us have siblings. So we have fairly active, if not healthy, relationships with our respective siblings. So we knew the more or less the context of the relationship. Now it was about narrowing it down to the details. Sumit, Amol, and I go back a long way. Even before we started shooting season one, we knew each other. In fact, Sumit had directed Amol and me in a play together. And so we've been friends. So there was already a sense of camaraderie among the three of us. There was already a sense of, give and take that happens. And so that, again, that was another thing that helps. The third was that somehow, again, it just happened on its own. That I genuinely, so Sumit was always like this elder brother figure for me. Like I would always go up to him with some career advice that I would be wanting. If I was dating someone, I would want, if I was dating someone seriously, I would want Sumit to also meet him and be like, and I'd ask him about what he thought and, stuff like that. Similarly with Amol was like, I've always felt very protective of him, and and I bully him a lot, like in life. So I just had to kind of translate that onto screen. And yeah, I think and a lot of it, of course, like was in the script already. There was a lot of it which was there for us to kind of just build on. And I think I remember Akash, he'd written the season one. And when the first look, the posters came out, and he was like, we've got the look right. Like he was like, you're looking like brother, sister, like you're looking like a pack of siblings from the same family, from the same unit. Because their worry was that it might not look cohesive, in some ways, but it does. And we were like, okay, great casting, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's quite bang on. And I think it's very evident that there has to be some chemistry between the three of you in real life. It's very evident. I know that I don't remember a lot of season one. I remember a lot more of season two for some odd reason in my mind. But some of your characters have, even Amol's character has received so much love, just because of just how memorable it is. Tell me a little bit about what has been your biggest learning lesson, or what is something that you have learned from your character that you may not apply in your real life necessarily, but it's something that you sort of take a step back and think about sometimes.
I've actually learned a negative thing. I mean, because there was one thing which I realized was common between Chanchal and me, and and I'm actually working on myself for that, which is that, like, Chanchal, being the middle child, she takes up responsibility on herself. It's not responsibility given to her, but she feels like she needs to. She feels like she needs to fix people's problems. And I do that with my friends all the time. Like the minute there's something happening in my friends' lives, I get so involved to an extent that it might even be annoying for the other person, that they might not even want that in the first place. But I try to fix it for them. And so that's something I've learned, that it's not possible. And it's never really possible, because you end up complicating your own life, your own relationship with that person, and it takes a toll on you and your relationships in general. And and it's just and you can't fix people. Everybody's different. Like your idea of fixing someone may not be their idea of getting
Right.
fixed. I mean, it's as simple as that. So we need to, like Chanchal needs to kind of chill, and yeah. And I've learned to do that. And I think the pandemic really helped with that, for what it's worth. The two lockdowns, I was alone, and got a lot of time to with myself. And I think I've just coming out of the pandemic, I just feel that there's an ease now, for with respect to me towards life in general and everything it brings with it. And I'm just like, it's fine. It'll all sort itself out. Like it's fine. I don't. I've learned to not take too much stress upon myself.
A lot of people will say that. I'll wrap up by asking you one final question. If you had to take one of the characters, it could be your own, it could be a mold, it could be your parents, it could be Sumit's, one of the 5 primary characters from season 3 out on a coffee date, so to speak, what would be the one question you would ask that character and why?
When is season 4 coming out? That would be my question.
Got it. I mean, fair enough. I think that it's an incredible series. I think it's very relatable. I think it's, and you're right, the emotions are very real, which is so important. So all the very best. I'm looking forward to watching season 3. I think it's going to be a fun ride. I think I'm going to get my parents to sit on as well this time, because I think they'll really like it. So congratulations, all the very best, and thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you so much. Thanks.